Okay, welcome to a restoration class. So today's class, we're going to use a lot of integrated movements to help restore range of motion, but also to help restore some functionality. Integrated movements are where we're basically using two joints or more to create a movement pattern. What I'd like you to do today as an approach to class is just try to be as specific as possible. And then after you're being specific in creating the movement, then ask for a little bit more. Okay? If you're very energetic today, well then your effort level might be much higher. But you could also do this class if you're not feeling 100% and you're feeling that this is more just movement to help you recover. That works as well. Speaking of recovery, let's go ahead and let's start with some diaphragmatic breathing. So let's bring your hands to your belly and take a huge breath in. And then when you exhale, let your breath go and feel free to sigh. Good, let's do that a couple more times. So big breath into your belly. And then exhale, just let it go, feel free to sigh. Good, one more time, big breath in. And then exhale, just let it go. Good. So now we're going to add on to this exercise. So we're going to still breathe into our belly, diaphragmatic breath, belly breath in. But on the exhale, what I'd like you to do is imagine you're zipping up a very tight jacket. And when you zip up a very tight jacket, you suck it in. You suck your abs in. Okay? So that's what we want to feel. We want to feel those abdominals sucking in as we exhale. Okay? What that's going to do, that's going to activate your pelvic floor as well as your transverse abdominis, right? Those are your inner core muscles. And if we can activate your inner core muscles, that we're going to have more core stability as we go through these integrated movements. Okay, so once again, start with a big belly breath in. So breathe into the belly. And then imagine you're zipping up a very tight jacket. It's very tight, so you want to feel how you're sucking it in as you're zipping up. Good, let's do that 2 more times. Again, big belly breath in. And then exhale, zip up that very tight jacket. It's super tight, really suck it in as you're zipping up. Good, one more time. Big breath in. And then exhale, zip up a very tight jacket, super tight. You have to really suck it in to get that zipper all the way up. Exhale. Hopefully you felt those inner core muscles engaged. And excellent. Because what we want to do is throughout the rest of the class is that we want to use those inner core muscles as we're moving through all these exercises. We're going to work with the active isolating stretching technique in this class as well. And that's going to really give us the opportunity to get a little bit deeper into our range of motion. And if you could think about that zipper breath technique as you're asking for more with the active isolating stretching technique, you're going to keep your inner core active, you're going to keep your core active, and you should notice that you get a little bit deeper in your range of motion. Okay, so before we get started with those integrated movements, we're going to just go ahead and build a good base. So we're going to start with the toes. What I'd like you to do is go ahead and look at your toes. I want you to try to wave your toes up one at a time, and then try to wave them down one at a time. So start with the big toe, work to your little toe, wave them up and wave them down. Now, it's okay if your toes are not that cooperative. As long as you're being very intentional about how you're moving your toes, you're going to be setting neurological impulses from your brain to the correct muscles, right? Or you'll be attempting to, and your motor behavior processes will improve. So the intention is what's really important. Let's do it one more in this direction, waving from big toe to little toe and down. And then we'll switch it. We'll start with the little toe, and we'll try to wave to the big toe, up and down. Now you may notice that you're more proficient in one direction than the other, which then I would just recommend practicing the direction where you're not as proficient a little bit more throughout the week. And if you really struggle with this exercise, then I really recommend practicing this exercise as much as you can throughout the week. Take those shoes off. Your shoes are why your toes lose their ability to articulate. And we want to go ahead and restore that, because if we can articulate through our toes, we have more stability in the foot and the ankle, which then affects the rest of your body. Good. Speaking of the ankle, we're going to now work with the ankle right now. We're going to roll to the outside edges of your feet, and then we're going to roll to the inside edges of your feet. right? This is ankle eversion and inversion. What I'd like you to do is make these transitions nice and slow and really try to go as far as you can out and then as far as you can in. So this is a really great exercise to do throughout the course of the week because we spend so much time walking on flat surfaces that our ankle loses its dexterity, okay, and then loses its stability as well. So doing this periodically through the day, especially if you spend a lot of time sitting, would be very beneficial to your ankles. Okay, for the next exercise, we're going to work the ankle into plantar flexion. So it's best to have something to help you with balance, like a wall or a chair. So what I'd like you to do is position yourself so that you don't have to worry about balance. And then just slowly lift your heels up off the ground as high as possible, and then come on back down. Okay? So nice and slowly up and down. And be aware that your body will want to do this fast. And we'll want to do it fast because it's trying to use momentum to get up. We're trying to restore articulation to the ankle, so we want to go slow. We want your ankle to spend more time creating this position, right? Creating this movement and experiencing all the positions in this movement pattern, right? Which then basically helps your brain understand what the ankle can do, which then helps your brain to organize better movements. Good. So now let's add in the ankle inversion and eversion to these heel lifts. So we're going to come up as high as possible, and then we're going to roll to the outside edges of your foot and then inside edges of your foot. You should feel how the weight shifts from big toe to little toe. Good. Now control the transitions. So as you're shifting in and out, try to control it the best that you can, and see if you can do your best to keep lifting your heels up. Good, let's do 3 more. And just work for control, the best that you can. It's okay if you're wobbling, it's okay if you don't have complete control, as long as you're trying to get control and you're doing the exercise. Good, last one. And down. Beautiful. From there, we're gonna work up to the knees. We're gonna do some knee circles. So I'd like you to take your feet nice and wide, then bring your hands to your knees. Okay? Then nice and slowly draw a nice big circle with your knees. You're going to notice that your feet will roll in and out as you're doing that. Exaggerate that foot roll. Right? So now your ankle and your knee are working together. Good. What I also would like you to do is try to sit the hips a little bit deeper so that you're creating more knee flexion. Good. One more time in this direction. Perfect. Now go the other way. Again, nice big circles. Keep it slow. In fact, recognize how fast your body wants to move and see if you can go a little bit slower. Excellent. 2 more. Sit those hips down. Good. Last one. Perfect. Now let's do it with your feet together. But this is going to be a little different. What I'd like you to do is imagine that the 4 corners of your feet are tattooed into the ground. Okay, then hands on your knees, and go ahead and circle your knees again. This is going to help your ankle work more into dorsiflexion. So on the heel lifts, we were doing plantar flexion, and now we're working dorsiflexion. Good. If you can, go nice and slow. And then also sit those hips down. Try to make the biggest circle that you can. Good. Let's go the other way. Now, as we go the other way, what I'd like you to do is watch your feet and notice how much your feet are moving. Try to keep your feet as still as possible. It's okay if they do move, but as long as you're trying to keep them as still as possible, you're going to be doing a world of benefit of improving your ankle and your foot stability. Good. 2 more circles here. Good. Remember, sit those hips down. Excellent. Good. So then in standing, let's articulate our pelvis here. We're going to imagine we're wearing a belt buckle. I want you to turn your belt buckle up and then down, up and down. So we're doing some pelvic tilts here. You're articulating your lumbar spine and the hip sides. So You should feel like it should feel like you're doing a vertical crunch with those abdominals. Good. Really work those abdominals in. Good. One more. Excellent. Good. Now from here, we're going to do some hip circles. But before we start circling the hips, we're going to map out the directions. So what I'd like you to do is go ahead and press your hips forward as far as you can. When you're at your end range, keep pressing your hips forward for 1 full second. Good. Then send your hips back and keep reaching your hips behind you for 1 full second. Good. Again, press your hips forward, keep reaching your hips forward for 1 full second, and then slide your hips back. Keep reaching back as far as you can for 1 full second. Good. Let's do it again. Reaching forward, keep pressing them forward for 1 full second, and then reaching the hips back. Keep reaching them back for 1 full second. Good. One more time each side. Hips forward, and then hips back. Excellent. Good. So now let's take the hips from side to side. Have your hands on your pelvis, right? We don't want to just side bend here. We actually want to send the hips to the side as far as you can in each direction. Good. Now let's go ahead, let's do it. And let's ask for a little bit more. So keep pressing the hips out for 1 full second. And then the other side. Press the hips out for 1 full second. Good. Let's try that again. Press the hips out for 1 full second. And then the other side. Press the hips out for 1 full second. One more time each side. So pressing them out. 1 full second. And then the other side. Press your hips out for 1 full second. Good. So then we've mapped out this circle, and then let's take your hips through the circle. So push the hips forward, and then slowly bring them out to the side. Reach your hips back as far as you can. And then take your hips out to the other side, and then press them forward again. Once they're here, go ahead, change direction, go back the way you just came. Try to make the biggest circle that you can, all the way around. Excellent. Good. Let's do that 2 more times. And just keep asking for more. So try to make the circle a little bit bigger, but 360 degrees around the circle. So just keep pressing those hips out all around the circle. And keep it nice and slow too. Another way. Again, we want to go slow here because we want your body to remember these all the positions in the movements that you're making. Good. One more time each way. A good analogy is if you take your hand and you swipe your hand through a candle flame really fast, you will not feel that flame at all. But if you go really slowly and bring your hand close to that candle, you'll feel the warmth of the flame for sure. So that's what we want to do. We want to go nice and slowly with these movements because we want our bodies to really feel the movements, because that's how the body actually adapts. By feeling the movements, remembers the movements, and therefore those movements become available to us in the future. Okay, so then after doing the hip circles, let's take our feet nice and wide. We're going to do some global rotations, and we'll also add in the active isolating stretching technique too. So I'll go ahead and demonstrate what this looks like, because it's a little complicated. So my feet are nice and wide, I'm reaching up, and then I'm pivoting on this foot as I wrap around and I reach behind me. I'll be reaching backwards for 1 full second, rotating my whole body, okay? And then I'll demonstrate on the other side. Again, arm goes up, wrap around, reach back with a pivot, and then come back forward. Okay, so here we go. Reach up, keep reaching up the entire time, pivot on the foot, wrap around, keep reaching behind you for 1 full second, and then come on out. Good, and then the other side. Reach up, pivot on the foot, wrap around, keep reaching behind you for 1 full second, and then come on out. Good, let's do that again. Reach up, pivot on the foot, wrap around, keep reaching behind you for 1 full second, come on out. And then the other side. Reach up, wrap around, keep reaching behind you for 1 full second, and come on out. Good, one more time each side. Can you take your feet a little bit wider? Good. Here we go. Up, reach up, pivot, wrap around, keep reaching behind you for 1 full second. come on out. And then the other side. Reach up, pivot on the foot, wrap around, keep reaching back for 1 full second. And come on out. Excellent. Good. Now, in a nice wide stance position, let's work through the spine, and then let's try to also open up our shoulders too. So my feet are pointing forward, my belt buckles up. From here, I'm going to reach for either side of the room. So one arm comes up and over, other arm goes under and across. When I'm here, I'm just going to reach a little bit further for 1 full second. And then I'll come on out. And then I'll do the other side. Up and over, under and across. Keep reaching as far as you can for 1 full second. And then come on out. Good. Then go ahead and take your feet a little bit wider. Again, keep those toes pointing forward, belt buckles up. Reaching to the sides of the room, hit your limit, keep reaching as far as you can for 1 full second, and then come on out. And then the other side, reaching up and over, under and across, keep reaching as far as you can for 1 full second, and then come on out. Good, can you take your feet wider? Just try, even if it's just a hair. Okay, belt buckle stays up, and let's do it again. Reaching as far as possible. Keep reaching this way for 1 full second, and then come on out. And then the other side, reaching up and over. Keep reaching as far as you can this way. 1 full second, and then come on out. Excellent, and then we'll walk our feet together. Perfect. So let's go ahead, let's now explore the shoulders here, okay? We're basically just gonna take the arms, we're just gonna reach the arms back as far as possible, as if you're trying to touch the wall behind you. You want to be careful that your shoulders don't pop up towards your ears. So keep your shoulders down, but lift those hands up. Good. Now try to touch the wall behind you. Keep reaching back for 1 full second. Excellent. Good. Now let's do the opposite. Let's cross our arms. Scissor your arms. Squeeze your biceps in towards your chest. Keep your shoulders down. Keep crossing your arms for 1 full second. Good. Let's open up your arms again. Try to touch the wall behind you. Keep reaching back for 1 full second. And then cross your arms against the other arm on top. So switch your arms. And squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Biceps in towards your heart for 1 full second. Good, let's do that a couple more times. So open up, try to touch the wall behind you. 1 full second. And then cross, squeeze those arms. Excellent. Keep crossing those arms for 1 full second. One more time each way. Opening up, trying to touch the wall behind you. Good. And then let's go back and cross your arms, switch your arms, other arm on top. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze for 1 full second. And relax. Excellent. Good. From here, we're going to then work into your whole body, right? We're going to use these arms too. So we're going to work into this extension of the spine and hips while the arms go into flexion. So the arms are literally trying to touch the wall behind you. And then we're going to reach forward and then come on down. And then in this position, your arms want to reach forward as far as you can. Excellent. So then we're going to do this, and we're going to try to add in the active isolating stretching technique. So that means that we're going to try to hold at the end range positions for 1 full second. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's reach forward, up and back. Keep reaching back for 1 full second. Good, and then reach forward, fold forward. Then take the arms up towards the ceiling, overhead towards the front again. Keep reaching forward for 1 full second. Good, and then sweep your arms forward, and that's going to help you come up again. And then your arms are going to reach behind you. You're arching your spine, reaching back for 1 full second. And then bring your arms forward, fold forward, sweep these arms up towards the ceiling, and then overhead towards the front. Keep reaching forward for 1 full second. Good. One more time each way. Sweep those arms up and back. Good. Hit your limit, and then keep reaching back for 1 full second. And then go ahead and shift your hips forward, fold forward. Take those arms, sweep them up and over, and then reach back to the front for 1 full second. And relax. And then slowly come on up. Okay, so we're going to try to get into the arms a little more specifically, the shoulders, the shoulder girdles, okay? We're going to work with an exercise called swimmers, What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn around so you have a better understanding exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to start with the hands coming up and back, as if your hands are literally trying to touch your heart. Then we're going to slowly, segmentally pull the hands out, circle them all the way up, and then we're going to, again, reach for the heart in this position. Okay? So what's really important, though, in this exercise is that what we're trying to do is we're trying to move one joint at a time, right? And we're trying to dissociate other joints from one another so that when we come together and we start working with this entire movement pattern together, when we're on the floor against gravity, that we're more proficient in how we do it. Okay? So let's go ahead and start with the hands up your back, close to your heart. The first thing you're going to do, you're going to squeeze your shoulder blades together. Good. Then try to lift your hands off your back, and then straighten your elbows. Good. Then rotate your arms so your palms face forward, and then slowly reach up towards the ceiling. And then from here, bend your elbows and literally try to find your heart again. Excellent. Good. Then we'll go ahead and we'll bring it back the other way. So squeeze your shoulder blades together. Take your hands off your back. Straighten your elbows. Turn your palms out to the side as far as you can. And then reach behind you towards the wall behind you. Excellent. Once you're there, go ahead and bend your elbows and bring your hands up your back as far as you can. And relax. Okay, good. So let's now do a couple more reps and let's just be more specific, okay? So the first thing I want you to do is get your belt buckle to turn up, have your core muscles turned up. Good. So the first movement here is squeeze your shoulder blades together. Then lift your hands away from your back. Good. Now straighten your elbows. Turn your palms out to the side. Reach all the way up and back. Good. And then bend your elbows. Let your hands try to find your arm. Perfect. Now we'll reverse it. We'll try to squeeze the shoulder blades together from here. Take your hands off your back. Straighten your elbows. Turn your palms out to the side. And then we're going to bring the arms down and reaching back for the wall behind you. Good. Once you're there, bend your elbows and just try to bring your hands up your back as far as you can. And then set it down. Good. One more time in each direction. Keep it very specific again. Okay? So belt buckles up, abs are turned up. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Take your hands off your back. Straighten your elbows. Turn your palms out to the side. And then reach up towards the ceiling. Good. Then bend your elbows and try to place your hands on your heart. Perfect. Let's go ahead. Let's bring it back the other way. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Take your hands off your heart. Straighten your elbow. Turn your palms out to the side. And then go ahead, reach behind you. Try to touch the wall behind you. And then from there, bend your elbows. Try to bring the hands up your back the best that you can. Excellent. Beautiful. So after all that, you might get nice and tight through here, through your neck. So let's do some neck circles here to help try to loosen this up before we move on to our other exercises. Reach your hands down for the floor. I want you to think you're squeezing your armpits toward your pockets. Good. Then take your nose and bring your nose down towards your heart. Slowly take your nose over to one shoulder. And then really slowly take your nose up towards the ceiling. Then we'll take the nose over towards the other shoulder. And then back down towards your heart. Good. Once your nose is back at your heart, change direction. Go back the other way. So go back towards your shoulder. And then slowly lift that nose up towards the ceiling. And then take the nose over towards the other shoulder. And back towards your heart. Good. Second time around, just see if you can go a little bit further. Okay, so can you bring the nose a little bit closer towards your heart? Can you bring that nose a little bit closer towards that one shoulder? And then can you literally bring that nose a little closer towards the ceiling? On your way over towards the other shoulder. And then back towards your heart. Good. When you bring it back, keep reaching your hands for the floor. So you want to keep those shoulders packed down as you bring your nose over towards the shoulder. And then you lift the nose up towards the ceiling. And then bring the nose over towards the other shoulder. And back down. Good. Now that your we're exploring for more range of motion, let's just try to be smooth through that whole circle, okay? So go ahead, bring your nose down towards your heart, and then nice and smoothly take your nose over to one shoulder. And then lift that nose up towards the ceiling. And then take the nose over towards the other shoulder. And back down towards your heart. Good, and then change direction, go back the other way. So bring that nose back towards your shoulder. And then slowly lift that nose up towards the ceiling. And then over towards the other shoulder. And back down towards your heart. Okay, so now let's start working through more of these integrated movements, okay? So again, integrated movements are about moving through more than one joint at the same time. So we're trying to organize or coordinate larger movement patterns. Let's start with your feet nice and wide and get your toes to point forward, then find your belt buckle and lift your belt buckle up. We're going to do a lateral lunge with a reach across in each direction. And what we're also going to do is we're going to get to that end range, we're going to ask a little bit more. As we lunge, we want to lift the foot up off the ground and then reach the arm across. So let's try it on this side. Lift your foot up off the ground, reach the other arm across, get to your end range, keep lifting and keep reaching for 1 full second, and then come on in. And then the other side, lunge and reach, right? Try to lift that foot up off the ground, try to reach a little bit further, 1 full second, and come on out. Good, let's try that again, okay? So lunge and reach. Keep lifting that foot, keep reaching across for 1 full second, and then come on out. And then the other side, lunge and reach. So lift that foot up off the ground, reach that hand, keep reaching for 1 full second, and come on out. Good, maybe adjust your feet, maybe try it a little bit wider, and then get your belt buckle up, but we'll go again. So lunge and reach. Keep lifting that foot up off the ground, keep reaching those hands, 1 full second, come on out. And then the other side, lunge and reach. Go as far as you can, lift that foot up off the ground, reach across your body, 1 full second, and come on out. Excellent. Position. We're going to do some kneeling lunges. We're going to add in the active isolating stretching technique. We're also going to give this an opportunity for us to integrate the upper body into this pattern that we've done in other classes. But real first, what I'd like to say is that you don't need to make this into a strength exercise. So if doing a kneeling lunge like this is a little much for you, I recommend setting yourself up at a wall or using a chair so you can lunge and you can support yourself like so. Alternatively, you can just go ahead and set yourself up on the ground, and that's going to free up your arms so that we can actually reach with those arms too. So what we're going to do is we're going to lunge forward and we're going to reach 45 degrees diagonal. I want you to bring your hands together, right? At least keep your thumbs touching. That's going to force you to rotate and articulate through your thoracic spine more, okay? Before we get started, let's get into a really good position here. So this front foot wants to be underneath this front knee or back a little bit, and you want your belt buckle up. Again, hands together or thumbs touching. It's up to you how you want to do this. But we're going to lunge your hips forward, and then we're going to reach up 45 degrees like so. And then we'll come on out. Good. And again, at the end range here, we're going to ask a little bit more. So we're going to lift the foot up off the floor a little bit more. We're going to reach forward a little bit more too. Okay? So let's get your belt buckle up. Hands are together. Lunge forward and reach. Try to lift that front foot up off the ground. Reach a little bit further, 1 full second, and then come on. Good, let's try that again. Let's go ahead and lunge forward and reach. Keep reaching and keep lifting that front foot up off the ground, 1 full second, and then come on out. Good, one more time. Lunge forward, belt buckle stays up. Lift that front foot up off the ground and reach through those fingers a little bit further, 1 full second, and then come on out. Excellent. And then we'll switch sides. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Again, good setup here. So Ankles right underneath your knee, belt buckles up. Okay. Lunge forward and reach. And then try to keep lifting that front foot up off the ground and reach through your fingers 1 full second. Come on out. Good, let's do that 2 more times. Lunge forward and reach. Lift that front foot up off the ground, reach through those fingers 1 full second, and come on out. 1 more time. Lunge your hips forward, lift that front foot up, reach through your fingers 1 full second, and come on out. Excellent. So then we're gonna pair that kneeling lunge with our kickstand rock and reach. So come down to a quadruped position like so. And then what we're going to do, we're going to take 1 foot out to the side. We're making a kickstand here. And we want this foot to point forward. Good. Once you're here, what I'd like you to do is rock your hips backwards as far as you can. And keep reaching your hips back for 1 full second. Good. And then rock your hips forward. You may have to walk your hands forward and press your hips forward for 1 full second. Good. Let's do that again. Rock back, keep pressing those hips back for 1 full second. Good, and then go ahead and rock forward. Press those hips forward for 1 full second. Good, 1 more time. Rock back, keep rocking back for 1 full second. And then rock forward, press those hips forward. Keep pressing forward for 1 full second. Good, and then let's come back to our starting position. Good, now from here, what we're going to do is some reaches. So I'm going to reach with this right hand under, but this left arm is going to be nice and strong. I'm pressing the floor away the entire time. So press the floor away, take your right hand, reach under as far as you can. Keep reaching for 1 full second. And then pull it out, reach up and back, keep reaching behind you for 1 full second. Let's try that again. Reaching under, keep reaching under as far as you can for 1 full second. And then pull up and back, keep reaching behind you for 1 full second. Good, let's do it 1 more time. Reach under, keep reaching this way for 1 full second, and then pull it up and back. Keep reaching behind you for 1 full second. Good, and then let's switch arms. So same position, just go ahead, take the other arm, reach under as far as you can. Keep reaching this way for 1 full second. Then pull it out, reach up towards the ceiling. Keep reaching this way for 1 full second. Good, 2 more times, reaching under. Okay, press the floor away with the other arm, 1 full second. Pull that arm out and up, reach for the ceiling, 1 full second. 1 more time, reaching under. Keep reaching this way for 1 full second. And then pull it out and up, reaching up for 1 full second. And relax. Good. So then let's switch sides. Same thing. So we're going to set ourselves up in this kickstand position with the toes pointing forward. Then we're just going to rock the hips back as far as possible. And then rock the hips forward. And again, you may have to walk your hands forward for this. Good. And then let's go ahead and let's rock back again. Keep rocking back for 1 full second. And then go ahead and rock forward. Keep pressing those hips forward for 1 full second. Good. Let's try to rock back. Keep rocking back for 1 full second. And then rock forward. Keep pressing those hips forward for 1 full second. Beautiful. And then come back to that starting position. And we'll do our reaches from here. So again, bottom arm wants to press the floor away. It has to be active. Then reach under as far as you can. Keep reaching this way for 1 full second. And then pull it out and up. Reach behind you for 1 full second. Good, let's try that again. Reach under. Keep reaching this direction for 1 full second. Then pull it out and up. Try to reach behind you for 1 full second. Good, 1 more time. Reaching under. Keep reaching this way for 1 full second. And then pull it out and up. Keep reaching behind you for 1 full second. Excellent. Good. Now let's switch arms. Okay? So make this other arm very active. Press the floor away. Reach under as far as you can. Keep reaching this way for 1 full second. And then pull it out and up. Keep reaching out and back 1 full second. Let's try it again. Reaching under. Keep reaching this way for 1 full second. And then pull it out and up. Keep reaching that way for 1 full second. Good. 1 more time. Reaching under. 1 full second. And then reaching up and back 1 full second. Beautiful. Excellent job. Okay, let's come on down to oblique sit. This position here, my hips are on the ground, my elbows right underneath my shoulder, like so. So in this position, what we're going to do, we're trying to activate the lateral core muscles here, lateral trunk muscles. So the first thing I want you to do is take your top hand, grab your lower ribs, try to lift them away from the ground. You want to really press this bottom elbow into the ground. You want to really feel all these muscles engage. Okay? Then go ahead and just reach this hand up and hold it. That's option one. Option two is to take the top hand, pack your shoulder down like so, and then slowly rotate this top shoulder down to the floor, and then rotate back up. Okay? Whatever option you're working on right now is that you want to be pressing your bottom arm into the floor, and you're trying to lift your lower ribs away from the floor the entire time. Okay? So if you're rotating, rotate nice and slowly with control. If you're just holding, really reach that top hand up in towards the ceiling. Okay, we have 2 more rotations. Just do the best that you can. Press the floor away. Lift the lower ribs away from the ground. Excellent. Let's switch sides. So again, set yourself up with that elbow right underneath your shoulder. Okay? Lift those lower ribs up and then reach up towards the ceiling. So this is option 1, just holding here. Option 2 is pack your shoulder down and then rotate the top shoulder down to the floor and back up. Good. If you're rotating, you want to be nice and slow and you want to have control as you rotate. In either option, what you want to do is you want to really press that bottom elbow into the floor, lift those lower ribs up away from the floor. Good. 2 more rotations. Have control of your body as you're moving. Good. 1 more here. Excellent. Great. From there, let's go ahead, let's lay down on our backs. And let's bring your feet outside shoulder width. Okay? If your feet are nice and wide, that's going to help you to keep your pelvis still for this next exercise. We're going to do some slow abdominal curls. So what I'd like you to do is reach up overhead. And the first movement that we're going to do is simply reach for the ceiling. Once you're reaching your fingers for your ceiling, the next step is to take both hands over to the outside of one knee. So now you're flexing and rotating your spine. You also want to make sure that your pelvis stays nice and flat on the floor as you do this. We're trying to teach the core how to articulate the spine. Okay, so let's do the other side. So let's reach up nice and high, and then reach for the other knee. Literally try to touch the outside of that knee, do the best that you can, and then back towards the ceiling and down. Good, let's do 4 more on each side. So again, slowly coming up, and then rotate and reach. Then reach back towards the ceiling and come on back down. Good. Try to exhale as you're reaching and rotating. And then think about inhaling as you're coming back down to the floor. Good. Again, come up nice and high, and then rotate and reach. We want to try to keep the hips flat on the floor as we're doing this. Okay? So press those feet into the floor. That's going to help keep your hips still. Otherwise, your hips might be rotating as you're doing this. And that means that your hips are rotating and your core is not rotating. Your spine's not rotating. We're trying to restore the rotational quality of your trunk right now, your core. Good. The other thing that might be happening is that you might be moving very fast and using momentum. Like you go nice and slow so that there's no momentum involved and that your body becomes more comfortable or more competent in all the positions of this movement pattern. Excellent. So after that, let's then follow up with some bridge marches. Let's bring your feet together. Let's have your knees bent 90 degrees, and let's also lift the feet up off the ground. Then with your hands, reach for those heels, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Good. Find your belt buckle, point your belt buckle up towards your chin. Now lift your hips up as high as you can. Good. Press your hands down into the ground before you start marching. You want to activate those lats because that's going to help your hips. Now with your hips up in the air, slowly march one knee up towards your chest and then switch. So we're going to do 5 marches on each side. I'd like you to try to pay attention to your hips right now. Try to keep them square with the floor the entire time. So you may notice that one hip drops to the floor when you pick the leg up off the ground. Try to keep those hips level to the ground. That's going to activate more of your hip rotator muscles. And that's just going to lead to better hip stability, and that's going to help protect us when we're doing anything in a single leg position, including walking. Good. One more time each side. Excellent. Okay, so then let's go back to what we were doing before with flexing the spine. This time we're going to add on a little bit more by trying to bring your legs straight up to the ceiling. Okay? I'll give you some options as well. So if holding your legs up like this is a little too much on your lower back, or your hamstrings are too tight, you can simply bend your knees like so. If your knees are bent, what I'd like you to do is come up and try to bring elbows to knees without moving your knees. Okay? If your legs are straight, what I'd like you to do is slowly come up and literally try to touch your toes like so. We're just going to do 5 reps, and it's about going nice and slow. More importantly, it's about trying to make a C shape of your spine here. So the first thing I really want you to do is tuck your chin, then look into your heart, and then try to look into your belly button as you're reaching for your toes, and then come up back. Okay? Let's try that again. Tuck your chin, look into your heart, look into your belly button, try to touch your toes, and back down. Good. Let's try that again. Nice and slowly, and then try to exhale out as you do this. Good. 2 more times. Now big exhale as you're trying to curl your spine. Excellent. Last one here. Let's curl our spine and let's hold it. Okay? So exhale, curl your spine, get to your end range position, hold right here. Now let's go ahead and just hold for 3 breaths. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, try to curl your spine a little bit more. Good. Again, big breath in. Then exhale, ask a little bit more. Try to bring your heart closer towards your belly button. Good. One more. Big breath out. Reach for those toes or elbows towards your knees, and then come on down. Excellent. Okay, from there, let's then go back to these bridge marches. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to have your hips on the ground. So we're going to be doing alternating single leg bridge marches. So let's get into a good position again. So your knees are 90 degrees, 4 foot off the ground, hands are reaching for your heels. Squeeze your shoulder blades together and then point your belt buckle up towards your chin. Good. Now lift one knee up towards your chest. Then bridge, come on down, and switch your legs. So knee up, then hips up, down, and switch. Excellent. Now as you're doing this, press your hands into the floor. Let your hands assist you in these bridges. Good. The next thing I'd like you to think about is point your belt buckle up towards your chin the entire time, especially as you're bridging. So we want to lock down our lumbar spine. We don't want our lumbar spine hyperextending. So belt buckle points towards your chin. That's going to engage those inner and outer core muscles. That's going to lead to more stability of your spine. Good. Let's do one more each side. Excellent. Beautiful. Now that we just activated this core through here, we're going to try to create specific movement patterns integrating hips and core. So again, bring your feet outside shoulder width, take your hands nice and wide. We're going to do some knee drops here. So you want to keep your shoulders and your arms flat on the floor. In fact, you want to press your shoulders and your arms into the floor. Then you want to take both knees, you want to slowly windshield wiper over to one side as far as possible. Your pelvis will rotate, as will your spine. Then come on back to center, and then same thing on the other side. Slowly windshield wiper or knee, drop your knees to one side. Good. Let's do a couple more reps here. And as we're doing these couple more reps, I want you to really pay attention to your shoulders here. Keep your shoulders glued into the floor. Press those hands down. Good. Then you're going to really force your spine to articulate. You're going to force your spine to rotate, and you're also going to force your hips to internally and externally rotate. Good. Check in with your speed right now. Make sure you're not going super fast. These movements want to be slow and smooth. Good. And then you want to ask a little bit more each time. Can you bring your knees a little bit closer towards the floor? Good. Let's do one more on each side. Excellent. Good. So then from here, slide your legs out straight. So your heels should be just outside shoulder width for this next exercise. We're going to have our hands nice and wide. We're going to do some a modified soft roll. So we're basically just going to roll the rib cage here. We're going to reach the hands up, and then we're going to reach across. We're trying to get palm to touch palm like so. Now, real quick, as I'm doing this, my feet stay flat on the ground. In fact, I'm pressing my heels into the ground. This is going to make the movement occur in my trunk, right? And it's not going to compensate with me rolling my pelvis. Okay? So let's get in a really good spot here. And let's go ahead, let's give it a shot. So heels stay on the ground, reach one hand up, and then pull that hand across. You're literally trying to touch palm to palm. It's okay if they don't touch. Just try to go as close as you possibly can, and then we'll switch that. Again, reaching up, and then reaching across. Try to get palm to palm to touch, and then return. Again, reach up towards the ceiling first, and then we're reaching across. Good, your heels should be pressed into the floor the entire time. Let's do two more on each side. So up and across. Try to get your palms to touch. And then back towards the ceiling, and then with control back to the floor. So up and across. Heels are on the ground. Try to get your palms to touch. And then back down. Okay, one more time each side. Up and across. Try to get your palms to touch. And then back to the floor. And then the other side. Up and across. And then coming back down. Beautiful. Okay, from here we're going to come on up to a quadruped position. So that's going to be hands and knees like so. And in this position, the first thing that we want to do is we want to make sure that the shoulders are away from your ears. So squeeze your armpits towards your pockets. Second, we want these knees underneath your hip sockets or forward a little bit. Good, then tuck your toes under. And all we're simply going to do is a bear hold. We're going to try to lift the knees up off the ground 1 inch and hold it. It's okay if your knees can't come off the ground. Just try. So go ahead and try to lift the knees up off the ground. You'll feel your shoulders and your core muscles activate. And just hold here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Excellent. Good. So then we're going to do a variation of that called a bird dog. So you're in this position, you're going to keep your knees on the ground. And then we're going to take arm and opposite leg and reach for the horizon. And then we're just going to hold this position here. Try to lift your arm and leg up so that they're parallel to the floor. And then just hold steady for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Good. And then switch arm and leg. So other arm and leg. Reaching out, try to get your arm and leg parallel to the ground. Just do the best that you can. And then hold steady for 5, 4, 3, of shifting left and right. Okay? So again, shoulders are away from your ears, you're tall through your spine. We're going to try to lift the knees up off the ground. And then the option is to shift left and right. Or the other option is just to hold still. Good. And let's go ahead and work for 5. And 4. And 3. And 2. Last one. And back down. Excellent. So then we'll return back to our bird dogs. And what we'll do is we're going to change angles here. So instead of being straight, we're going to work 45 degrees. So take arm and opposite leg, reach out 45 degrees. Try to get your arm and leg parallel to the ground. Hold steady now for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Perfect. And then the other side. Other arm and leg, same angle, 45 degrees. Try to get the arm and leg parallel to the floor. And then just hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and down. Excellent. Good. Let's give another option for the bear hold. Let's circle the heart as we hold here. So again, if you can lift the knees up off the ground, go ahead and do that, and then circle the heart, or just hold. And we'll circle for 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1, and down. Good, and then my favorite variation, the last variation for the bird dogs, is that we're going to try to take the arm and leg straight out to the side and hold. So think 90 degrees straight out to the side. Lift the arm and leg up, try to get them parallel to the floor, do the best that you can, and just hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Good, and then let's do the same thing on the other side. Reaching out to the side, and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Good. From here, slide your knees outside shoulder width, and let's see if we can push back to the bottom of a squat. So just rock your hips back as far as you can, and then just try to roll over your feet. It's okay to keep your hands on the ground. Just lift up your sternum as high as you can. You want a tall spine here, proud chest. Good, let's come back to the floor to quadruped. Good. Let's try that again, but let's change positions. Let's bring the knees wider, let's bring the feet wider, and then rock back again. Roll over your feet. Try to find the bottom of the squat. Just do the best that you can. Lift up your sternum. And then go ahead, rock forward and down. You can keep your hands on the ground, and it's okay if you don't even get your knees off the ground. You just want to rock back. You want to try to load this bottom of the squat the best that you possibly can. So we tried 2 different positions, so go ahead, go back to whatever position was best for you in terms of your knees and your feet. And then let's go ahead, let's give it another shot. Rock back, roll back, find the bottom of your squat. Good, and just hold here and breathe. Big breath in. Exhale, try to get all the breath out. Good, one more time. Big breath in, big breath out. Last time. Huge breath in, big breath out. Remember those inner core muscles. Really try to squeeze all the breath out. Good. Then bring your hands to the ground. Let's lift your hips up in the air, and let's slowly roll up your spine 1 vertebrae at a time. So rolling up nice and slowly, just rotate the pelvis, try to stack each vertebrae one on top of each other. Keep your chin tucked until the very end, and then stand up nice and tall. Excellent. So after all that, we're going to come over and we're going to do a little bit of a dynamic serpent here, right? Just to get a little bit deeper into your muscles to help them restore this elasticity that they're supposed to have. So what I recommend is coming over to a wall or having a chair, something that will help with balance right now. We're going to start with some leg swings. So if I'm standing here, I'm going to balance myself. I'm going to take my inside leg. I'm just going to gently start to swing front and back. And then I'm just going to let momentum take over. And then as momentum is swinging my leg, I'm just going to gently ask a little bit more. Front and back for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. And then I'll do the same thing with my other leg. Start nice and small. You want to create that momentum first. And then once momentum's created, you're just going to push it along like you would be pushing someone on a swing. Just push and let that leg swing get a little bit bigger. Good. Let's go for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. So then let's go across the body here. So I'm just going to start to swing in front of my body, left and right. I'll find momentum. And then just going to go ahead and push a little bit more with momentum. Try to make my leg swing a little bit bigger. Good. Let's go for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. And then the other side, same thing. Start nice and small. Create some momentum. And then pick it up from there. Gently just ask for a little bit more. Good. Another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. So then let's do some arm swings. So start drawing small little circles here with your palm down. Then gradually make the circle bigger and bigger. You're going to start to notice that momentum takes over. And then once you have momentum going, just throw the arms. Throw them around for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Perfect. And then let's go the other way. Palms up this time. Small little circles. And gradually get a little bit bigger. And a little bit bigger. Good. Then once you feel momentum, just throw those arms. Let them circle. That's it. Let's go for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. Good. So now we're going to do some global rotations. So what I'd like you to do is just imagine like you're a little child who's bored, just swinging their arms. So you're swinging the hips to swing the arms. You're pivoting on your feet. That's really key. Hips twist, feet pivot. Good. And then once you've got that momentum going, with your eyes too, look around and just let that just help grow the momentum a little bit more with little pushes from your feet into your hips. Good. And let's go ahead and let's keep swinging the whole body for another 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Perfect. Okay. When we clap, we throw the hands together. So we're going to reverse clap. We're going to start with your hands together and throw them apart. All right? We're going to open up our chest and our shoulders this way. So throw them apart, throw them apart, throw them apart, throw them apart. Good. Now let's throw them apart on diagonal. So again, hands together, diagonal, change diagonals. Good. Again, throw them apart, throw them apart, throw them apart, throw them apart. One more. Excellent. And now let's go vertical, and this becomes like the alligator or the tomahawk chop routine. So hands together, throw them apart, and switch the hands, throw them apart. Throw them apart, throw them apart, throw them apart. Excellent. One more each side. Perfect. Okay, so after all that, then what we're going to do is that we're going to throw the arms, and we're just going to let this arm throw help to turn into a shake of the whole body. And if that shake of the whole body turns into a bounce of the whole body, then bounce. And if that bounce turns into a jump, then jump. Okay? So just start here, just throw those arms down. Then start to feel how the chest comes down. Start to feel how the hips and knees are bending. Good. So now you're shaking your whole body. And now just see if your body can bounce. And if you're bouncing, then go ahead and jump. If you want a little bit more, you can jump a little bit deeper. Excellent. So whatever level you're at, we're just going to do this for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. Okay, so we did a lot today. So I hope you feel much better. Let me know what you think about class, and let me know if there's anything you want to work on in particular. And thanks for joining me, and I'll see you soon.